Hi, this is James Mathers here at NAB 2006 for the Digital Production Buzz and the Digital Cinema Society. I'm going to interview Ted Chilowitz about the talk of NAB this year, the Red Digital Camera. Ted, can you tell me all about it?
Thanks for the kind words. And we are sort of the talk of NAB. You caught it at a nice quiet moment. Normally there's a giant crowd as people gather to go into the tent and see the bearded lady in there. Whatever we did, so far people seem to think we're doing it right. So we're getting a tremendous amount of excitement about the product, about what we're focused on, our philosophy, the fact that we're in development and proud of it, and proud to show people our pathway, our development curve, talk about where we're headed, talk about what we know, talk about what we don't know yet, and be honest and truthful. So we are out to change the landscape of an industry. And Jim Gennard is founder of Oakley. He's also the founder of Red. They're two separate companies. Jim's still active in Oakley and basically started Red a little while ago, and I'm the first employee. So I'm basically sort of running the project with him and helping it all come to life, and we've got a lot of people working on it. It's a lot of fun. For those of you that don't know Oakley, I'm a surf skate kid growing up, so I of course knew Oakley when they said, you want to come meet this guy and talk about building a camera? Okay. Oakley is it's quite a large company. There's a few thousand people that work there. They build the world's finest optics, the world's finest sunglasses. What people don't realize about sunglasses, I think is a fairly mainstream product, how much technology goes into actually building sunglasses. It'll blow your mind. I think you've taken the tour, right? So you've seen the other half of Jim's world. It's remarkable what they do, and they own all these patents, and it's incredible. So, you know, one of the things, this is an interesting thing to talk about. One of the things about the leap of, okay, here's a guy that owns probably the world's finest sunglass company, makes goggles and apparel and all these other things too. How does he link into a camera and a camera world? Well, for me it wasn't that hard. It didn't take me just a few minutes to sort of make that link. Because here's a guy that's obsessed with vision and how you see the world. His whole career, his whole life. And what's the ultimate expression of how you see the world? Well, it's a camera. He's very passionate. He is a camera guy, very excited about building a camera. He owns lots of cameras. He's been frustrated with all of them. He wants to build his own camera. The difference between us and all of those cameras is that this is an inclusionary product. We set a price point so that a lot of people could buy it, and that helps us defer a lot of the cost of development and what we can do. So the price point for the body is $17,500. That's pretty amazing, and so far it's been very popular. We're taking orders at the show, put a deposit down. Regarding the sensor, you asked a good question. And I was talking before with a gentleman, and we were talking about the triangle that builds up a camera. There's three things that require us to do. So the sensor's at the top. You can't have a camera without a sensor, so you need a really good sensor. You have industrial design over here, and you have what we call camera electronics and everything else over here. That's the three pieces that make up your camera. Jim was the sole designer for all Oakley products for the first 15 years of that company's existence. So who better to design the look and feel of our camera than Jim? So Jim's got a design team at Red, and that's his job. He's got a real job. He's not just the guy behind the thing. He's really working with me every single day. We work on lots of stuff, and he's got deliverables, he's got deadlines, he's got things that he's got to do, and that's his department, is industrial design. So what you're going to see when you see how beautiful it is, we have a few prototypes, and things are going to change before we get done. But we have one cut out of pure milled aluminum, which is a work of art in and of itself. We've got some built in carbon fiber prototypes. Again, these are early prototypes. Things will change and alter. And we have the camera body itself, and we have something that we call the cage, which surrounds the camera, gives you the ability to grow the camera, to mount lots of accessories on it, to put it on a pedestal. You can fly it light with just the camera itself, so you wanted to put it on a Steadicam. We have this shoulder harness rig thing we call Red Gun, which allows you to shoot it like a rifle and drop it down low. We're thinking about how do we change all these rules. So, you know, if you're going to set out to change the rules, the first thing you do is change the rules. So that's what we're doing. So on the sensor front, we are building our own sensor. We did a lot of investigation. You were actually part of that investigation, so you're, you know, sort of linked to this in more than just an interview role, and we appreciate that. To see if there were some sensors out there that we could use for our camera. And we discovered that there were not, that we were not happy with what was out there on the landscape, sensors for sale by third-party companies. So we went out to build our own sensor. So we built our own sensor team. Now, of course, we don't own our own foundry. That's sort of a whole nother, yeah, not yet anyway, it's a whole nother level of sophistication and things that are required. But we're working directly with a foundry to build our own sensor with our own sensor IP. So that's very exciting. That means we can build what we want, how we want. And we're not tied into any legacy technology. We're building brand new technology, very modern process. So we're taking advantage of a lot of the legacy of people that have proved out, like I said, the science projects and sort of said, you can do this, this, and this, and this. Okay, well now it's time to make it real. So our sensor is a 4K plus sensor. It's a little less than 12 megapixels, 11.5 megapixel sensor. Single CMOS Bayer pattern sensor. S35 size. It's actually, in the physical measurement, it's 3 per 35. So it's a widescreen 35 millimeter sensor. So we're using PL mount lenses are the recommended choice. It's a cinematography tool that will also be comfortable in a broadcast domain, other domains. But we're targeting as our top end of the spectrum. We want to build this as a cinema product. So we're building this to handle 4K. We know that most people in the landscape probably won't have the need to touch or deal with 4K. And yes, it's going to require a lot of bandwidth to do that. It's an off-board solution. You have a camera and then you have a high-speed port to deliver that. What's really amazing about the camera is 2K and down, and not just HD, 2K and down is onboard recording. So we're developing wavelet-based technology from a codec standpoint, and I can't really tell you exactly what it is, only not trying to hide anything, only because the curve moves really, really fast in that world. So we're investigating a lot of options, we're experimenting with a lot of things. We think it's going to be wavelet-based, we think it's going to be variable-based, it will be visually lossless, and we'll get you to 2K, 60 frames a second, 1080p, 60 frames a second, 720p in a windowed sensor mode, up to 120 frames a second, and maybe even higher. We don't know yet. We understand there's a viability, and because we're tapeless, we're not locked into a lot of the legacy problems that you would have and the difficulties of having to deal with trying to make tape do that. So, our friends at Panasonic figured out some very clever ways to do that and give them a lot of respect for that. We have a different take on it. So that's actually one of the easier things we can do is step the frames. So that's a great thing for cinematographers.
Now you've been selling these for not quite 2 days.
Yeah, a day and a half.
How many have you sold?
You want to guess? It's pretty
200.
incredible. You're about right. Unbelievable.
200. I have number 30.
Oh, there you go. You have number 30. That's good. It's a good number. Our goal is to ship first cameras by the end of this calendar year. It's aggressive, absolutely. We're excited about being aggressive.
How about number 30?
Well, you'll be in, the first 30. How's that? So I will not insult your intelligence by saying that's a hard ship date, because that would be a lie. These are engineering targets. This is the development process. We're developing this product, right? But so far, things are looking pretty good. You see how evolved we are just after a couple of months of really turning the green light on and going for it. We've got bodies designed. That's Jim's department. That's that other part of that triangle, industrial design. That's Jim's world. So we think we're going to get there. We have high confidence we're going to get there. Now I have to keep all those stars aligned for this calendar year to get there. But so far, all's good, and everybody's excited about it, and we think it's going to work. So keep your fingers crossed, and we'll get you number 30 as soon as we can.
Thank you very much, Ted.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.